Hi, it's Drew again. As per the title of this episode, I will be talking about RoboRally today, but first I want to go over some stuff about the show. There's officially a micro badge on Board Game Geek of me. It's right there, titled Drew Explains and Reviews Board Games with Video Fan. Sure, no one has actually bought one, but somebody took the time to make one, and how many people can actually say they have a micro badge with their picture on it? Anyway, I now have a responsibility to my massive fandom, so I'm going to try to make these videos a little bit better one step at a time starting today. So here's the first new feature, a tentative opening. Okay, so RoboRally is a crazy robot race game through a widget factory rife with hazards like conveyor belts, lasers, and bottomless pits. It's designed by Richard Garfield, who, legend has it, created Magic the Gathering in an effort to raise a little startup capital so he could publish RoboRally. It plays anywhere from 2 to 8 players, but I wouldn't recommend it with fewer than 4 or 5, to be honest, and the more the merrier. Alright, components. RoboRally is a big game, and it comes in a big box. Inside you'll find a detailed rulebook full of nice color pictures, a variety of cardboard chits, the plastic numbered flags, a 30-second sand timer, player boards, the boards you'll be playing on, and the robots you'll be playing. There are several unique plastic robots to choose from, each of which has his own hilarious backstory. For example, this is Hulk X90, who is programmed with the delusion that he is hundreds of feet tall and an unstoppable juggernaut of destruction. From a game mechanics point of view, the robots are all identical, but the variety is fun. I'm told that back in the day the robots were made of pewter, and I'm sure the sand timer was capped with brass and the boards were all alabaster or soapstone or some other make-believe material. But now that we've left the 19th century, everything is plastic and cardboard and made in China like it ought to be. There are 4 boards to choose from. In a typical game you'll use 2 or 3 of them, though if you want a longer game you can use all 4. They're each double-sided and can be arranged any way you want, and then you can put however many flags you want in any combination of places, so there are limitless possible setups, which is very nice. The decks are the movement deck and the upgrade deck. The movement deck consists of the cards you'll use to program your robot to move forward, backward, or turn. The upgrade deck are cards you can use to improve your robot's weapons or movement or whatever. RoboRally is a race. The first robot to touch each of the flags in order is the winner. The way you'll go about moving your robot through the factory to each of the flags is by the movement cards. By default, you'll be dealt a hand of 9 movement cards at the beginning of each turn. From those, you choose 5 programs that your robot will carry out over the course of this turn and play them face down onto your player board. That will dictate how your robot will move this turn, and once they're down, you can't change them or even look at them again. To make things harder, the first player to finish programming the robot turns over the sand timer and everyone else has 30 seconds to finish their programs. Once everyone is done, players will go through the following phases one by one for each of the 5 program cards. They reveal 1 movement card, the robots all move simultaneously according to their first program, the board elements such as conveyor belts and pushers activate, the lasers fire, and then the players check to see if they've touched any checkpoints. When moving your robot, first check to see if there are any conflicts with other robots. If there aren't any, just move them along according to the card. However, robots will be hitting each other quite often. For example, let's say this is the board. I'm playing Hulk X90, while an opponent is playing Twonky. Twonky is programmed to move forward 1 so he can peacefully land on the next flag. But wait, Hulk X90 played a move 3, which could interfere with Twonky's movement. First we compare the numbers on the cards. The one with the higher number goes first, so Hulk X90 is going first. He moves 3 spaces, pushing Twonky along with him, and only then does poor, sad Twonky finally roll forward, putting him not on a flag, but on a conveyor belt heading towards a bottomless pit. This sort of thing probably happens to Twonky all the time. Okay, so after that the board elements activate. First, the blue express conveyor belts push robots one space. So this guy will actually move and rotate because he's turning a corner here. Then the express conveyor belts move the robots one more space, and the regular conveyor belts move one space also simultaneously. Then pushers, like this one, are going to push any robots sitting on them one space if the current program phase is the same as one of the numbers on the pusher. So in this case, we're on the first card, so the robot would get pushed one space. Finally, gears, like this one, rotate any robots on them 90 degrees. After the board elements, lasers fire. This includes all the lasers on the board, so this robot we saw get moved along by the conveyor has moved into the path of the laser and takes 1 damage. But it also includes the lasers that each robot is firing. So the robot that got pushed one space and the robot that got turned are facing each other now, and consequently they both take 1 damage from shooting each other. Lasers on robots shoot as far as they can before hitting either another robot or a wall. When a robot takes 1 damage, they have to take one of these damage chits and put it here on their playing board. The 9 damage spaces here correspond to the 9 cards you get at the beginning of each turn. Each damage token taken over the course of the turn means you'll get 1 less card to choose from for the next turn, which means fewer choices when deciding on your 5 movement cards, which means your robot will start acting kinda funny as he takes more damage. If you take 5 or more damage, you'll notice that you have fewer than 5 cards to choose from at the beginning of the turn. So that means that whatever card you played in that last slot on the previous turn is going to be locked in for the next. Things can get dangerous as you start choosing from fewer and fewer cards, and really dangerous when cards get locked. Fortunately, you can get rid of all your damage by restarting your robot. To do that, you wait until right after you have arranged your program cards for the next turn, and then declare that you are shutting down. You'll play that turn as normal, but then sit out the next turn. Keep in mind, though, that while your robot is shut down, he's still on the board and subject to other robots pushing him around, board elements, and lasers, so you might even start back up with a little bit of damage if you were in the wrong place when you shut down. Back to the phases during each turn. After the lasers fire, you check to see if you're on any checkpoints. If you're on a flag, then you have successfully reached that flag and can move on to the next one. If it's the end of the turn, meaning all 5 cards have gone off and you've ended on a repair site marked with a wrench, then you repair 1 damage. If you're on a repair site marked with a crossed wrench and hammer space, then discard 1 damage and draw an option card, and you'll be able to start using that option card next turn to make your laser more powerful or maybe give you new movement options or whatever the card says. Finally, after all 5 cards again, you discard all of your cards, draw your new hand, and the process starts all over. Now your robot can be destroyed during this turn, either by taking a 10th damage token, falling into a pit, or just going off the board. If that happens, you re-enter the game at the last repair site or flag that you touched. According to the rules, you're supposed to start with 3 life tokens and then discard 1 each time you die. After discarding the 3rd, you're out of the game. I don't really like player elimination though, so we usually just play that you die and come back with 3 damage tokens. So continue like this until one player has managed to touch every flag in order, or until you've had enough. Yes, even though I really have fun playing RoboRally and recommend it for larger groups all the time, I have to admit that if you get too excited and put down all 4 boards or tried to play with more than 5 flags, you might find the game getting a little repetitive after the first 2 hours. The longer your game goes, the more likely you are to get a runaway leader, too, and they're going to be 2 or more flags ahead of everyone else. So I recommend playing on smaller boards with fewer flags to avoid that kind of consequence. I usually play on 3 boards with 4 flags. I should also point out that a lot of people disagree with me on that. Some people play epic games of RoboRally with 50 boards and a million flags and love it, but I find the game to be a little too repetitive to work well like that. If everything in the box for RoboRally doesn't give you enough variety, there are tons of variant maps online with lots of variant board elements. So if you want to play with teleporters, oil slicks, and flamethrowers, that's all available. There are also tools available to help you make your own boards, so if you're the creative type and you know how to properly print and mount boards, that option is always there. You can also play RoboRally online for free at GleeMax, though it's not quite the same experience in my opinion. You can find more information on all this on the RoboRally page at BoardGameGeek.com. So if you're looking for something for larger groups with fast-paced and chaotic action, RoboRally can be a great buy. If you're not sure, try it online. You might be surprised how fun it is. Bye for now. Buy my micro badge and see you next time.